Now says he's sending in 50 special operations forces into Syria. This is the Iranians are threatening to walk away from the so-called peace talks over Syria. Joining me now in a Fox Business exclusive, Bob Hormats. He served as Undersecretary of State under Hillary Clinton. 50 people, small numbers, do they make a big difference?
They don't really make a big strategic difference. What they do is demonstrate that the United States is trying to play a more significant political role, particularly now that the Russians have been so much more active and sending troops in and also using their air force to a much greater degree than they were.
And this is their supposedly these Syrian peace talks. And you've got Iran playing the diva, threatening to walk away. Saudi Arabia is furious that they're even invited to be at the table because they are basically the interventionist aggressor who's got a seat at the table.
Well, Iran has said for a long time it wanted to be at the table because it wants to have a voice in the outcome. The problem is that a lot of other countries in the region believe that the voice that they will utilize when they sit down there is not one that's going to be helpful to getting Assad out, but will be there, in effect, supporting him or trying to do its best to slow down the process.
Here's what worries me, Bob. ISIS has said to a German documentarian that I watched at some point who gained access, we would love to draw the U.S. in and bring them to the ground, either in Iraq or in Syria, so that we can take them on. And here now that's happening. I know we can't ring-fence the situation. General Jack Keane has been on here many times and said you can't, otherwise they'll come to us. And we definitely don't want that. But is this going to change anything?
I don't think it'll change it very much. I think it will demonstrate when they do go to the conference table, as they're now going to do, that the United States can say at least it's playing a more proactive role. But I don't think the United States is going to get deeply involved in this process. It's very hard to do. First of all, small numbers are not going to help very much. And second, even if we were to be in there, there's so many contentious factors fighting with one another that for the United States to get involved in that quagmire would be a very difficult process.
You just said it, quagmire, and this looks like, 50 here, another 25 there, 5 here. It looks almost like the quagmire that became Vietnam, but it's too early to make that comparison. The ultimate goal is to get rid of Bashar al-Assad, the head of Syria. Does that happen?
I think the ultimate goal is to get rid of Bashar al-Assad, but it's also to make sure that the government that replaces him is not a radical Islamic government. Mm-hmm. And that requires
a repeat of the original Egypt situation.
Yes, or something like that, that you give away control of this country to either chaos, like we see in Libya, or a very extreme al-Qaeda type government or ISIS kind of government. So the transition has to be an orderly one to get him out and then to get a rational government in. That is very difficult in this chaotic environment because everyone's competing to have their champion be the leader of this transitional government.
Well, ex-Israel and Jordan, there has been very little that's been orderly in the Middle East. Bob, thank you so much.
Pleasure to be with you.
Bob Hormats, Kissinger Associates Vice Chairman and former Undersecretary of State. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.